Hello, Kenya is trying to rebuild itself after 2 months of post-election clashes. But now the BBC has learned of serious allegations of state-sanctioned violence. Sources have told us that senior members of the government met members of the Mungiki, a banned Kikuyu militia, at the president's official residence, both before and immediately after the elections. The aim was to hire the Mungiki to defend the Kikuyu, President Mwai Kibaki's own tribe in the Rift Valley. Sources inside the Mungiki say it was a renegade branch of the militia which was responsible for the post-election clashes. But the allegations add to the evidence that violence was organised on all sides. In a moment, we'll hear from the Kenyan government. But first, Karen Allen has our exclusive report.
Nakuru National Park, one of Kenya's most treasured tourist attractions. Barely any visitors these days. This picture postcard image, almost forgotten. In Nakuru town, capital of Kenya's Rift Valley province, it may look like business as usual after post-election violence and now a new peace deal, but the presence of military suggests there is still tension here. You don't have to go very far to see why. Makeshift camps are now home to thousands of Kikuyu, the president's tribe, displaced from their villages further north. When they arrived, they brought tales of horror from the countryside, entire families affected by the bloodshed. For David, a successful farmer, now everything he owns is in this tent. Like many here, he says the security forces failed to protect him. There may now be a peace deal, but the talk is still of revenge.
The people want to revenge because you can't come to stay here. You used to have your things. You want to tell me that you left the place, then when you go back, if they say you go back, you find somebody took your cows, somebody took your shamba. You want to tell me you can stay good neighborhood when somebody is grazing your cows somewhere else? People are still very bitter, and they can hit back.
Just a few weeks back, Kenyans got a glimpse of exactly what retribution might look like. This, not spontaneous anger, but organised violence. Armed gangs bust into Nakuru, embarked on an orgy of killing. But where were the police? As the clashes spread to the nearby town of Naivasha, the gangs picked out their victims one by one. Now chilling evidence has emerged that some police helped the gangs on their way. One officer has broken his silence. On duty at the time, he revealed that in the hours before the violence erupted, a convoy of minibus taxis called matatus was simply waved through police checkpoints. To protect his identity, the policeman is represented by an actor.
When we were there at the roadblock, there were many vans. You know these matatus? Around 12 of them packed with men, completely men. There were no females, but as you could see them, they were armed. There were several police officers there at the roadblock. They were ordered not to stop the vehicles, to allow them to go.
Who gave the police their orders? We now understand that senior members of an illegal Kikuyu outfit, the Mungiki, were allegedly hosted at State House, the official residence of the president. During a series of secret talks before and after the elections, our sources claim that senior government figures sought to hire the shadowy gang as a defense force.
3 members of the gang met at State House, and after election, and the violence spread all over Kenya, the militias were called again, and they were given a duty to defend the Kikuyu in Rift Valley, and we know very well they were there in numbers.
Why have you chosen to speak out about this?
It needs a few Kikuyu men to come open and talk about this, because it is only the Kikuyu community who I believe will stand up and make these people ashamed, and they will stop doing what they're doing.
This meeting has been corroborated by several sources. In this part of town, the violence has stopped, but a dangerous legacy remains. One young man was lucky to escape with his life, chased by a mob of armed men because he was from the wrong tribe. He claims his attackers were Mungiki.
There are rumors that the Mungikis, actually, we call them Mungikis, some of them have come from other areas. Some of them are the local young men here. They are planning to kill us.
Francis told me that as he fled to safety, his neighbour hesitated.
So I didn't even bother to pick anything because I was unable to pick anything from my house. So I managed to move. But the other guy, they caught up with him while he was actually in the house. And they hacked him. They didn't kill him at the very instant, but was, hacked him and all that. So later on, I heard that the police came, took him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he died.